he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Well, good evening, friends. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm Franky, and this is Mexi.
Hello. Hi.
And this is the Think Tank. So how you doing, Mexi?
Good.
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 I haven't talked to you for so long.
Right. I was trying to get that Miley Cyrus song out of my head, and literally right before we went live, I was like, I can't stand this. And then the music started playing. I'm like, oh, it's gone. It's gone.
I love the music that you put on
like
this intro.
That one's nice.
Yeah. I start dancing around. So tonight, I'm thinking, I'm just going to get set up on my other one here. I am thinking Brian Kohlberger and the Murdaugh case.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a
keeping up with either.
Haven't you? No. The trial is getting really interesting. Yeah. Finally, they're not talking about
those.
Yeah. For the first week or so, it was strictly finances. And it's like, okay, you've made your point. And then it got into DNA, which is kind of cool. But the average person does not understand it. It's almost, it can be dry if you don't kind of get to understand it a bit better. I'm trying to get my mic to not slide.
Yeah, I understand that because I talk DNA all day and it's annoying. The last thing I want to do is at the end of the day
talk more. But it's awesome because you understand a lot of it when you're talking about.
But it is boring. It is very boring. Like all this.
Is it even when you do it as a profession? Do you find that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's repetitive. Because I mean, I think you're dealing with so many different people on a daily basis. Everyone has something different, but essentially all the questions are the same.
Oh, that's true, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I find it interesting, but when they get talking about alleles and this and that, I have no clue. It's like, okay, I'll write that down.
Alleles. Got it.
Alleles. Yeah. So they were talking that, there was I think it was the gun in the Murdaughs where they found one allele. And they're like, that's not much. And the other one's like, what if it was 3? I have no clue. Is one allele very much?
Are you talking about markers? They found they could complete a profile on one marker. Is that what you're saying? Is that what they did?
Well, they were talking about whether or not his DNA was on these items.
Okay.
And then when they
I kind of understand what you're trying to say. Like, so alleles would be, the actual, I'm just going to say number because that's the easiest way to explain it. That's what it's going to look like on a DNA profile. You'll see the marker labeled in like a square. Some people do it differently, but it's usually like in a square and they'll show your alleles. You would get one from your mom, one from your dad. So
if they just find one allele inside of something, is that very much?
Well, that would just be one marker then.
Okay. So it's not much. Like,
yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. Okay, because it gets confusing because they're saying, oh, you know, there's only one allele, and then you've got the defense going, well, what if it was 3? Would that be lots? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
Well, so like, I guess the proper question would be, how many alleles did they find in that marker? Because even if they just had like, if you have one allele and one marker, that just like what we would say, you got double dosed, where your mom and your father both gave you the same sort of numbered allele. So you only get one. Because why show both when it's the same number?
Okay.
But like, I guess the proper question would be is how many alleles did you find of that marker? So if they have 3 alleles in that marker, that would tell me that there's 2 different people.
Okay. So one allele, when they're saying that it really is not much.
Yeah, if one allele, what they're saying is essentially they just have one marker.
Okay.
And like to complete a DNA profile, like 100% without a doubt, you need about like 23, 21 markers.
Okay. So when he was being kind of like a smart aleck and said, well, what if there was 3? That's still nothing.
But that is a very interesting question. That's what I'm asking. Like, did he mean that they had 3 alleles in one marker? Because if that's the case,
they just said one allele. That's all he said, one allele.
So one allele in, it's possible to have one allele. It looks like one allele in one marker because both your mom and your dad gave you the same thing, right? Like the same numbered allele.
Right.
So you would only have one. But usually people can have, usually they have 2 because mom will give you 1, dad will give you 1, and usually they're a different number.
Okay, I lied to you. It says here, skin under Maggie's nail, not Paul's or Alex's. Just had a manicure, and there was one epithelial
cell.
One epithelial. Did I say that right?
Epithelial cell.
So yeah, skin under Maggie's nails was not Paul's or Alex Murdaugh's, and she had just had a manicure. So do you think it's possible that could be like the technician that did her nails?
It could be a technician. It could have been something that...
Anything.
Yeah. You scratch fruit at the supermarket that somebody else scratched. I don't know. It could, like, literally, it could be... It's like, it almost be like touch DNA, almost.
Right.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, that's what they were
more
saying
likely from the person who did her.
Okay, I'm gonna put that. Could be anyone, really.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe she was in a relationship. Like, who knows? Was it
exactly
male?
Right?
Even tell?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I've been, since I stopped covering it all the time the other day, I watch it and I take notes, and it's like, honestly, my little notepad here is full of like, and half of it I don't even know what it means.
You like shorthand, and you're like, damn it, I can't even read that.
What is this? I need next. What are they saying?
What did I even mean by that?
That's the thing. Like, it's like, and then they get talking about GSR and GSPR, and they get into that kind of stuff as well. And it's like, okay, but GSPR is actually gunshot primer residue.
Mm-hmm. So
if they've got something like that, because it says here that it's not biodegradable, so it would be, this primer could be left for quite some time. Everything okay there? Hello?
Yeah, people coming in the house, you know.
Okay.
Just like, hey, someone's here. We know.
Yeah, hello, people. Yes. So what I'm talking about this GSPR, I've got to speak up too. they're saying that this gunshot residue, if how long it could be on that raincoat. Like, does it mean that there was something wrapped up on it recently or wrapped in it? Or does that mean that it was something right away? This raincoat thing, and this is like, have you been listening to any of that?
No.
Okay.
I've been kind of slacking lately, like, you know, playing a lot of video games, just trying to like decompress.
Yes, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I am like, seriously, I'm 24/7 true crime, and I watch it from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. And it doesn't even have to be a case I'm working on.
No,
I'll actually,
yeah, my decompression is watching crime shows, like,
exactly, and not one that we're working on.
Yeah, but I do have to step away from my computer. I think that's really more what I try to do, is just
that's
get
fair.
away from the computer.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're saying here 3 particles of GSPR. Could it have been on that raincoat for years? And that answer was yes.
Yeah.
Unless it was wiped off. The clothing that he was wearing was found damp and in different spots. Like, one part was like in the back of a closet, and just areas that you don't expect. And then they're talking about the different particles on the raincoat. Hello, Perry. Good to see you, friend.
Wait, so they said that there was like, what, damp, as in there was dampness on the back of the closet?
Damp clothes. Yeah, the clothes he was wearing allegedly smelled like detergent and were kind of not in places where they ordinarily would be.
You know what doesn't make sense to me in all that? Like, so the clothes that he was wearing, if they were damp, if you had just murdered someone, killed someone, I mean, would you put on clothes? Like, if you were drying them and your dryer's shitty and it doesn't dry all the way, are you gonna take clothes from the dryer and put them on? Or like, can't you just grab stuff out of your closet or your...
Well, this is it. Because the thing is with his clothing, well, there's pretty much has to be 3 different outfits. There has to be, okay, he was checking the trees with Paul, checking the property out with Paul in one of their little, I don't know if it was in a truck, but one of their vehicles. And you can see in that where he's giggling as his dad's watching this tree kind of go over that he had planted. It wasn't stable. And he's wearing like tan kind of pants or khaki kind of pants.
Yeah, and that ombre kind of blue shirt.
Yes, exactly. And the work shoes. Nobody has seen those. Those are missing. So he was wearing that. And then he was wearing that that outfit that everyone sees him in, with that white t-shirt and khaki. Yeah, exactly. So there's those 2. And then there was something else that they're saying that, you see, I think you're right, Perry.
What did the nurse say he was wearing? I know Perry's right about the different shoe thing, but what was he wearing when he went to his
I have that somewhere. Oh my God. And then then they had a bomb threat.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. Got Alex fast, took a different way to the jail. Boot up, reboot. I don't know what I'm keeping track of there. I'm trying to see here. Because, yeah, there's basically 3 different changes of clothes.
And what would be with the damp clothing?
Well, that's it.
So there was actual damp clothing that they found at the back of the closet.
Yeah, one was a t-shirt, and like a wet t-shirt that I can't remember, one of the people that worked at the house found. I can't remember if it was at Moselle or at the parents' place. Okay,
That'll
what have I got
probably be
here?
like
Went to his
my
mother's.
weekend project is to watch
Alex. Oh, there's sometimes.
Let's try to finish.
Oh, this is it. Okay, so he acted shocked. He sure did. Yeah, they get talking about
in that
wadding.
video, Perry, that which I actually have. Let me just pull it up really quick.
There is a discussion about that hose because the guy that worked there had a certain way. He was very diligent, I guess, as to how he took care of things. In that hose, he had a special way of wrapping it. But if you look at any of the cops' body cams, it's just, I mean, the area is wet and the cord is just, or the hose is just like all over the place. And like I said, it was wet. Do you remember seeing some of those pictures, friend, where?
Yeah, I'm actually.
How wet it was?
And
he had not, okay, let's see here. His name was Roger Dale Davis Jr. And he worked at Moselle for about 4 years. He would go clean the kennels and deal with the dogs like 2 times a day, once in the morning about 7. And then he would show back up about 3:30, 4 o'clock and do the same routine with the dogs over again, feed the chickens and feed and water the dogs.
But I think you can actually hear water running in this video.
Right.
If I can share my screen real quick, I have it up. I'll just play it real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you be. Very true, Perry.
You can see water on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can hear it running now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you really can. Water bucket's full. And he said that he left there like 4 o'clock. Said it only takes about 45 minutes to do what he needs to do.
And that's just what? Putting water in the bowls, giving them food.
Yeah. Feeding the chickens, let them out for a little bit of exercise. And clean out the kennels.
Need exercise? What are they doing? Doing pull-ups,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Paul and Maggie were both at the kennels, so they could be responsible. Absolutely, but they usually didn't. Like that would be out of the norm for them to go in there. But it is showing that there was water there before anything happened to them. He described, he was asked about Paul, and he said he was wild and crazy, but a very hard worker. He said he would do anything around that property. And it sounds like that property was going to be handed down to him at one time.
Yeah.
He loves to hunt, and they get the boars out there, and they had something in like their gun room, something like 20 some guns, different types, different shotguns. Yeah.
I'm giggling because that kind of made me laugh. Like during the interview when they were like the cop was like, "I mean, living out here, I'm assuming you have like more than 2 guns." Right? I would think like 3, 5. He's like, right. Yeah, we have 23. And you're like,
exactly.
Why?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a hunting lodge, right? They had like
Yeah, I
1,700
suppose.
acres.
I guess like different people could
Well,
maybe do
friends
like a
would come out.
timeshare, or like they invite different
Mhm.
friends, or yeah, I could see
That's the
them
thing.
having a lot of guns, but
And hunting weekends and
yeah.
oh yeah, like the different types of guns. Like she was unalived with one of those, what is it, 300 black. Do you
The
remember
blackout.
hearing? Yeah, the
I've
blackout
never
case.
heard of that, like,
They
ever.
sound pretty specific for this. Like they're, I don't know what they fast shooting guns. Like
So it's a fast shooting gun would be what, like automatic? So semi-automatic. So how
definitely
many shells can you load into it then? Or
not
does
a.
it have like an actual
It
clip
doesn't.
to it?
It almost looked like a normal shotgun.
Oh, are those the ones that load from the back?
No idea. I just know they're fancy.
This because there's one of the guns that they're talking about actually loads from the back, and it's like if you didn't know this weapon like firsthand, you would never figure it out. Like you would never because most weapons are top loading, like when they're shotguns or rifles, they're top loading.
Right.
This one
Yeah.
has it on the actual stock of the gun, on the butt of the gun, on the back of it. There's a pull
Yeah.
out. There's a
Okay.
pull-out thing that comes to it, and you can load your shells in it and then insert it back into the gun.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just have to look at something here really quick. I think I have to go into studio. Basic info. No. No. Maybe there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just had to check some of my settings there in YouTube for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Detective lied to the grand jury in the Alex.
Oh.
Okay. Do we know which one, Sam? And welcome.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, welcome, Sam Sui. I did see like some kind of headline or something saying that there might have been like tampering or something, but that was from the law office.
Okay. I don't know that I've heard about that. There's so much. Like even he's saying he was doing opiates for 20 years, and this is part of the reason he was such a screw up was because of the opiates.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that's the case, that is not something that winds you up. I don't know how you could have that kind of addiction and be a lawyer. I really don't know how it's.
Unless he had some weird handling on it, or like he wasn't taking that much of it, or
like
I don't
20
know.
years.
I just don't believe that someone would not see
some
indication of that.
He would be nodding. Like you can't take some of these things and be able to perform duties because you nod off with a lot of that stuff.
You forget.
It doesn't.
You'd be. I don't know. I just kind of find that really hard to believe that he was on.
Yeah.
Something for 20 years.
And this is it. Nobody noticed.
Like,
I agree.
He must have been really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, sadly, opiates that's a big thing that's happening with our world right now. It's affecting a lot of families and people. But I tell you what, anybody that I know of that is, I mean, actually even survived that kind of addiction, they sleep.
Mhm.
My
But
screen doesn't
yeah.
show comment in the Alex.
Yeah, it doesn't show it in chat either.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
to Sam's thing, he's talking about that guy. You know how they put in those motions like right before trial to exclude matter evidence or whatever from that one guy. He used to be a cop, and then I guess he made his like own testing lab or whatever. I don't know. There was motions for it, so they excluded it altogether. I thought.
Okay. Well, they've also been, I mean, a lot of that stuff at the beginning of the trial where they would not bring it in
was because of that guy that Sam is talking about, because he did all like a lot of the testing or something.
and
was
well that
Oklahoma.
I don't remember which guy that was. I don't remember which detective.
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
You see, I have to honestly say, after watching this trial 24/7, I don't know. His reactions, everyone says, yeah, they don't seem real. I don't know about that. I'm undecided if he could be that good of an actor. Like, I don't know. I don't know how it went, or did he do this and then right away went, oh shit.
You know, and I have been slacking a lot. I have been watching the trial. I haven't been keeping up with stuff, but I have watched, just while doing something else, I've listened to some of the new body cam footage that was released.
Yeah.
And I'm not a body expert. I'm not even, right. I don't have a degree anywhere close to anything related to that, but
same.
Something about the way he words things, about how he says them, his inflection, he gives compliments. What it's like just a weird, like, why does that even matter kind of compliment, weird details, just something seems off. And it's like any regular human, when you listen to somebody else talk, you're just like, I don't know what it is, but like I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, he is
like, I just don't. I don't like that. Well, he's like, whatever it is.
He's absolutely had some really unusual responses. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know.
Kenneth Kinsey that they're talking about?
Oh, I don't know that name. I did miss some this afternoon, and it's to the point now where they're trying to get they're cramming in a lot. So the judge denied at first that roadside shooting, right? But then there is a possibility that it was brought back in. Because the defense had kind of started. Okay, that's right.
Let me, if you don't mind, I'll play this. Like on the
yeah.
I think this is safe. It's who is this?
Let's take a look here if it's safe.
1226. News 5, guys.
Okay, if it's short. Yeah, I think you're okay if it's short.
You guys hear it? Can you hear that?
Not really.
Just want to make sure that I'm sharing the correct.
Is that what that is, Perry? I think Alex believes he had no choice but to commit those. So there is probably some small amount of sadness for it. Do you know what? That is probably
about his wife. I will say that.
Well,
it's weird about his wife.
I think Perry just nailed it. I think he just nailed it, because I do believe there is some remorse in there.
Yeah.
I absolutely, and I think probably when that shotgun was used on his child, if he was the person that did that, it could very, very easily be what the hell, like not expecting the result, where like literally his brain hit the roof and then landed by his
he
feet.
can remember seeing.
Oh, it probably haunts him if he's any kind of.
But
You
it doesn't
know.
change the fact that if it
No.
was him who pulled the trigger, he
That's
pulled the
right.
trigger. Like, doesn't
Fair
change
enough.
that. If he's the one that did
Exactly.
it, he pulled the trigger, and that's messed up. So your remorse means nothing.
New details just released in the deaths of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh.
This comes less than a week before disbarred Low Country attorney Alex Murdaugh is set to be in court facing charges in their murders. Cameron Bob joining us now in the newsroom. And Cameron, the defense now asking for the court to deny the state from using testimony from Tom Bevel, a blood spatter expert.
Tom Bevel.
And Ralph, Murdaugh's defense has already raised questions about the use of his expertise on the shirt Murdaugh was wearing the night of the murders, which reportedly had blood on it, according to previous filings. But how that blood transferred to his shirt is the big question. And another expert whose report is included in this new filing shows he has a different opinion on how that blood got there. According to the filing, Orangeburg County Deputy Chief Kerry Kinsey, a former SLED special agent, says the stains on the shirt are too hard to identify as high-velocity spatter. Those are blood stains you'd likely find on a shooter's clothing, according to the documents. Meanwhile, the state's expert, Bevel, reportedly agreed in his own study at first, but after being confronted by SLED agents, he changed his mind, saying the stains are in fact blood spatter, according to previous filings from the defense. So Bevel says it's blood spatter as a result of the 2021 shooting deaths of Paul and Maggie. Kinsey says it's just too hard to tell. Now, this all comes as the defense has previously requested Bevel's opinion be thrown out, and now they're asking he not testify in that murder trial coming up next week, as well as for attorneys and court fees incurred along the way through Bevel's analysis. The defense appearing to be using Kinsey's analysis as their justification. In the newsroom, Cameron Bob, Live 5 News.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, what did...
I feel like I didn't listen to half of that because I was distracted by that man's like choker
high velocity spatter likely from the doctor first but to sanctions. So Bevel says it's blood spatter as a result of the 2021 shooting.
I honestly, this is how I feel about that. I do not think he was wearing those clothes. I honestly, if he did this, I do not believe he was wearing those clothes. So there should not be any kind of splatter on them. Like that would be just stupid.
If that's a shirt that he was wearing,
it doesn't even make sense.
I'm assuming that's the shirt that he was wearing. There's a police interview with him when they pull up there. It was just released, the body cam footage, and he takes his shirt.
Yeah.
So you saw that smudge.
Yep.
That's like at the bottom. He took a shirt and he like wiped his face with it. So
that's
the handprint on the what looks like a handprint, it looks like a handprint because he grabbed his shirt from underneath.
Right.
And then
and then wiped his face with it more than one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was intentional. One thing I do notice in a lot of his interviews, he's sweating. So I don't really know what that's all about. I don't know why he's having that reaction when others are not. Crying, yes. Sweating, I find odd.
But I don't see the signs of crying in him, like
not.
And now that I see like the earlier body cam footage too of before he did that interview in the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, if he was supposed to be wailing, crying all this entire time, like you don't see that in his face. Like anybody else, you can tell whenever someone's even been crying for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, the puppy eyes and I do not see him upset when he's in court. I do not, but I do find some reactions interesting, like you said, when there you go. Like at the property and things along those lines. Like, it honestly makes me feel like I said, like, if he did this, he didn't expect the damage that was going to happen.
I mean,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, yes, but like to me, like in my opinion, because we've talked probably a little bit this, so you kind of understand. Like, I don't accept that. Like oh, you're so shocked because you shot your son in the face. You're shocked. What did you?
But you know what? I don't know that. But I don't think a person, when they're in that frame of mind, I don't think so. Yeah. And again, Perry's right here. They didn't even take his phone.
Yeah,
like
they didn't do a lot of things.
No, they didn't. And this case is not strong. I mean, it's not a strong case. They can't make it by wanting it. They need more, in my opinion, than what they've shown. I think there's enough room for reasonable doubt so
and
far.
The defense has done a good job of trying to put that in.
And they haven't even started their side yet.
Nope.
So that is going to be very interesting to see what they bring out. Some of the things, like having, when he went to visit his mother that night, when this happened, they say that he does not show up at that time. First time ever that he came in.
Yeah,
and
I remember that testimony from
Yeah, and she also said that he said to her, basically, I was here this long.
Right.
And she kind of looked at him and he was like, I was here this long.
Did you hear the little part? So obviously I know you heard it. So like that little part where they started asking the questions about like, and how did you feel about that?
Right.
Like, and she was like, I feel more like he was telling me, like trying to convince me that I was here. That she felt that she had to call it, like she even called her brother or somebody in the family to tell them, like this happened. Like, because that's I could almost see, because of the way he looks at people through those glasses, and I could almost see him saying something like, I was here from this time to this time.
Oh, he's arrogant.
Here from this time to this time. Like,
exactly. This is the way it is.
Yeah. I could see why she felt the way she felt. You could see it in her face. That woman was.
Oh, that poor woman. She was.
She had a little bit of an angle towards Alex. Like, kind of facing more towards the jury, I guess. Maybe that was on purpose, or maybe. But you could tell that she was very timid. Like, she did not.
Oh, yeah. She didn't want to do that. It was against her will. That's for sure. I mean, I do believe that they have an extreme amount of pull in that area. He has very good friends that have been in the system since he was a kid. I mean, look at who he's got for a lawyer. He had shot animals. We'll have to see here. He will have known to expect gore. That's very true. Well, and that's right. With your son, it's a different experience. And that's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, to do something like that, do you have to shut that off?
But how do you do it? You already have to bring yourself to that. You've already resolved yourself to, I'm going to murder my wife and my kid.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
At one point, you've already made that dedication. You planned it, right? You thought about it. You probably planned it, thought about how doing it.
Yeah.
And then you want to say that was, you didn't know, you didn't know that was going to happen. I don't know. Like, for me,
I think you'd have to turn it off to do it.
Yeah, I can understand the psychology of it. He was just like, oh, it's still PTSD kind of thing, traumatic. He was expecting all of that. But at the same time, because I'm just like, dude, you've already decided to kill your family. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Like,
Or did he think about it? Lots, a person thinks about some crazy ass shit. Not that we do it, but our minds go places. So
Yeah.
what if he had just been kind of tossing this around because he knew that his wife was very proud of the name and she was going to be disgraced, and she was already disgraced in that people were treating them like crap because of that boat crash. So did he just at one point, okay, Paul cannot be around because all this financial stuff is going to come out, and my wife is going to be more disgraced, more hurt. I can't just I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of things that could be in place there. I mean, different emotions from every person.
Yeah.
I'm sure like his wife, she was no clown. Like, she knew what was up. I knew she probably knew something was going on. Like, he was acting weird. Like, they were married for how long? She knows her husband, his actions.
Yeah. Well, and she did say to her sister, they were talking about it, and actually to the housekeeper, she was really scared because they thought, or she thought at least at the time, that they were going to have to pay $30 million in civil court for that boat accident. So
I mean,
allegedly she was super, super upset and worried about finances because they did not have $30 million just to basically pay people off.
Can I be devil's advocate for 1 second?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to look at I'm just trying to peek at another side here really quick.
Yes. Yeah.
Alex put money in her name.
You betcha.
So she would have eventually found out, like, whether she knew that account even existed, right? Maybe she was like, oh, I had no idea, right, that it existed, but she would have eventually found out. Like, if you go and apply for a credit card, you go and get a new job, you go and do anything, whatever.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Credit reports, like, they show up the name. You're gonna see that, and you're gonna be like, "What? That's a right social. That's a right this. That's a right that. Like, who? What?"
Yeah.
I think
she was looking. I think you're right, Perry. She was looking to get a DIVORCE, which would have entitled her to half of everything. I would have thought.
That's the first step after marriage, isn't it? Divorce.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know that story. So yeah, if she was truly looking to get a divorce, she would have exactly have had half of everything.
And
but
she would
in
have
my
found all
mind,
those things too through records.
Well, sure, absolutely, and I would think, when it gets to this point, there is a good possibility that she had an idea because she was scared of the amount of money that they wanted. And I don't blame her. Like, I guess from what they were saying, he had an affair something like 15, 20 years ago. And she sucked it up for the Murdaugh name. She was like, whatever, and got over it, which would be a very hard thing to do.
No, you never get over it.
No,
never know it. No,
no, that's
really say that. I could say that as a woman who's literally moved on.
Oh yeah,
don't ever get over it.
But that's true. That's true. That is a wound that is very, very hard to fix. It's that's my life story. It's like, yeah, and we did it in the bathroom. It wasn't me.
Thing too, like, because they had several homes, several properties, all these things. They had housekeepers. They could hire groundskeepers, people that just looked after the dogs. Like, where did you think all this money was coming from that kind of salary? Do the math. Like, that shit don't add up. Like, it does not add up.
No, it really doesn't. And I mean, he was a high paid, good lawyer in the area with a really, like, at that point, a good reputation. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was making good money, but where are the millions coming from? Like, there was, when they start going through the paperwork with the accountant, like there's millions and millions of dollars. Okay.
yeah.
In the murder podcast, they
Hi,
suggest there was
Blifton.
more infidelities. Okay. Well, hello, Blifton. So they do they, Perry? I can see that. I absolutely can see that.
And see, I have a conflict with just what Sam said. Like, why did mommy allow the guns? Like, and not a conflict with you, Sam, but I have a conflict with that idea. Like, because I think the defense is trying to say that Maggie loved the property. She loved being there. She loved being around the dogs and doing this and doing that. So why, if she loved all of those things and that was like a passion, why hire someone? Why
she didn't like it out there, though. She did not like it out there.
So, like, what's the idea that she spent time there, even like a whole bunch?
Yeah,
like, making up shit. I'm not even sure I believe any of that story.
Yeah, from everything I've heard, she disliked it there. I mean, you've got that place with all the guns and all the boys, or you've got like a riverside kind of relaxing holiday place. I pick that over a field in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of guns around. So
of course, that's like,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I understand why she did not like that place. And they had a bit of problem. Like, she even said to her sister, like, he wants me to go out there. What should I do? And she's like, well, go out there and support him. His dad's dying. And
what's Maggie's maiden name? Like Murdaugh or something? That's a prominent family too, isn't it?
I cannot remember.
Maggie Brandsetter Murdaugh.
Was Maggie brought up in a similar? I don't think so. By the talk of the sister today, she said that, you know, there was only two girls, her and Maggie, and that she even said when they started getting guns for Christmas presents, like, what the hell are you doing? And she said, well, they like it. They like killing the hogs. What if the field had an eagle's nest nearby? Oh my God. Right? Oh, yeah. That would no.
And now it's fossil, really.
So shooting at, is that right? Is that just very recent?
One dead, 2 wounded outside El Paso bars. Is that today?
Unreal. What's going on with this? And I mean, being it's Wednesday, we can throw some different things out there. What the hell are these fucking things? Frickin' things doing in our atmosphere, floating around, getting shot down by the governments? What the hell? I was talking to the fellow that brings me some supplies, and just started watching someone streaming it now. Okay. Let's see here. Let me know if
we're going to go local first. El Paso Times. Hello. College right by there.
Shooting. Oh, not shooter, shooting. Oh my God! Updates. Person wanted after shooting at a food court in Vista. Vista.
You know what I'm really surprised by when it comes to like stuff like this, like shootings, mass shootings at places like this, or just when anything awful happens when there's a crowd around. How many people are able to pick up their phones and start recording, but no one can?
It doesn't happen, does it?
Say anything, step in. Like, I don't.
Here we go. Let's just take a quick look, guys. Thanks, Blifton. Much appreciated, friend. Okay, then, here we go.
Police coming from all areas. The traffic is, there's a shooting? There's a shooting? Yeah.
Hey, look, right here on Facebook.
Oh, what the hell did I just do? Okay, let's try this again.
Bro, getting a hot air balloon ride anywhere over America at this time is really a bad idea. A bad idea.
Did not do it. Okay, what the heck? Come on, let's check this out. Live update. Person wanted. So this guy's still running around, or did they get him? Okay, turn off Spotify.
Hold on, I just thought that Terry straight up just said that he was gonna get his partner a solo balloon. He was like, I'm not even gonna get on it. I get the joke now. Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to take a peek. Hang on, give me a second. No, thank you. What the hell? It's timing out on me, like totally. Let's do that. Okay. Let's try this again. Why am I having such a hard time? Mm-hmm.
I'm just reading up on Maggie. It looks like her family was pretty modest.
Okay. This just does not want to. I'll try a different one. Good God. Okay. I don't know why I'm not finding it live. Let's try this one.
I don't want to play this, but like this picture is insane. Of how like 7 different agencies responded. Well, multiple agencies responded to the mall in El Paso after reports of shots fired.
Did you find one? I found one.
I'm not seeing anything that's live now.
Okay. I'll try this one here.
Oh, yes, police dispatch.
Because there's a briefing coming up.
Yeah, because he's at large. So he got away in Texas. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He scurried off? No way.
In the distance with that massive law enforcement.
Oh, I didn't.
I don't see.
I don't know what the hell here.
I just see the K Fox 14 one, but
Let's see here. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh my God. Well, what the hell? No, it's not live. Because it's saying they're supposed to do an update. Still looking, friends.
what? What they said? What?
What? Do you know El Paso, Maxie? You happen to know anything about that?
Do you hear this? I have a police scanner thing going.
Who's this? Who's in this? Is that Fox?
I don't know. I had to pull up a police scanner. I just sent it to you.
Where?
Mm. Can you hear that?
No,
No.
not I.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear you.
You can't hear the police scanner?
Oh, hold on here. I don't hear anything right now.
Do it again. Hold on. Do it back again.
That's what I heard, Clifton. There's supposed to be an update, so I'm trying to find that. Damn. Not so much.
No?
Well, I'm looking. And yeah, I'm having. Do you think you'll do a live on? Yeah, I was even thinking about doing one tomorrow, Perry. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I thought about doing it.
I closed everything out. I was like, we could do one now. We could do one now because I haven't been keeping up with Nicola Bulley either, but I do know it's just fucking strange. The time frame, like, what? None of it. She's on a call with her job. She sends a text message, like, and then she's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, but her dog's tied up. Who did that?
Well, what they're saying is that the guy that runs that caravan place right behind, he said that he tied the dog up because it was running around loose. He's also
didn't bother calling the cops.
Pardon me?
And he didn't bother calling the cops to let them know that there was a dog loose without its owner?
No, because he had honestly said that the next dog he's seen running around, he was going to shoot it. So no, he wouldn't have been the kind that would do anything. Yeah, I'm surprised.
He did it.
Yeah. So I'll be curious. Let's see here.
I mean, what? So you're willing to tie one dog up where you know obviously there's like a harness and a cell phone. You're like, hey, where's human? And you're like, I'm gonna tie this dog up. But the next dog you see you're gonna shoot? Nah, bro, you did it. You did it. No.
It was you.
Dude, like, can you get any more suspicious? Like, seriously, none of that.
Well, yeah, definitely. Trying to see here. These guys are always pretty good. So let's take a look at that, Perry.
From the wrong road. Oh my god.
So
hold on, I need to make a drink.
Yeah.
This is making me so mad.
Yeah.
The wrong road.
So okay, here. Woman that her, is that what you're thinking? Very odd. They say she found the dog, phone, and harness, leash that she used to tie the dog up. So that this is the first time I've heard about a woman. That's very interesting. Yeah, right, Clifton? Sorry we didn't find that information because I absolutely would have got it out. Oh, Mexi, there you are. Okay, let's take a boo.
After dropping her children at St Michael's School in St Michael's. First of all, Nicola Bulley was reported missing on Friday the 27th January after dropping her children at St Michael's School in St Michael's. As soon as she was reported missing, following the information that was provided to the police by her partner, Paul, and based on a number of specific vulnerabilities that we were made aware of, Nicola was graded as high risk. That is normal in a missing person from investigation with the information we were in possession of. She was immediately treated as a MISPA, and then on the Monday, the 30th of January, I was identified as the senior investigating officer.
Wow.
Your independent career. Discover HoneyBook, the all-in-one client flow management platform.
I'm here today to appeal for witnesses in the case of Nicola Bulley.
Yeah, so I found that very odd as well, that they had that entire road wrong as far as locating her. Supposedly she was on the other side of the path. I did research her today, but I didn't know there was another update. So let's carry on. What's going on here? So I also find this really interesting because she is supposedly a strong swimmer. I have a very, very hard time. I swim very similar to a rock, but I have a hard time I think I could go in there and survive it. There's no undercurrents. There's no, even if it drops right off, I'd be able to doggy paddle my way back. So I find this really interesting.
Yeah, no, I drown. I know I would drown, but
in that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt in my mind, I'd drown.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even be anywhere near that. But I've seen like people searching this area and it looks to be kind of shallow, like they're walking through it.
Yes.
But then I've also heard that there's like certain spaces that are like 18 feet deep.
So I'm thinking that must be further down in a spot that, because that dam or what, I don't know what they call that there. The water is not rushing over that. It's like trickling down. So they're like everybody else. They need more water. And you can even, even that, I mean, it was trickling over. It wasn't like, it wasn't a full force type of thing.
So,
and
I guess I just want to throw this out there since Perry's the one that's brought this case to kind of our attention. And what are people saying there? Are they thinking that this is like some sort of suicide thing or
not what I've heard? No.
As if
I haven't heard those words come up.
And I want to say that I find it very strange that if she did have those issues with like mental health and substance abuse.
I haven't heard that though.
For a woman to do the things that are said to have been done in here, and okay, maybe we can like chalk those off to like a good Samaritan walking by and be like, oh, loose dog, weird, and tying it up with it own string, which I don't understand why you're carrying your own string, but whatever. That's not hurt. Like, that's not, like, as a woman, like, if me, like, I have a dog, like, if I had mental health issues and I was like, I'm over it, I want to leave, I wouldn't take my dog with me. Like, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't do it there. Trust me. If you were going to unalive yourself, you would not jump into a creek.
No.
Like, there's so many other ways.
No. Yeah, I can't swim. There's no reason I don't go in the water. I'm not scared of it. I just
don't go in.
I can't swim, and I just don't go near it.
Yeah. You see, there's creeks like this all over the place out here. But ours move. Like, they're not as stagnant as this one seems to be.
You guys,
and I know, like, all this,
like this, because even though you don't see it moving above the water, there could be
sometimes
things in the water like that.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%. But this is really, really,
yeah,
yeah,
it's got a lot of movement, or
No. This is, if I was going to unalive myself, this is not where I would go. It's just
I definitely
like,
wouldn't get on a work phone call beforehand.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do any of the things that I was supposed to do that day. If I wanted to go and just, this was the end, I would not do any of my duties for the day.
Oh, for sure.
But that's me. Yeah. I don't know how other people are. They're just like, oh, I should go to that work meeting in the morning, and then,
Right. Yeah, I don't, the whole thing is strange. I don't believe that happened. Not for 2 minutes do I believe that she unalived herself. I just don't buy that.
Did she have fallen in?
She still would have made it. She's a strong.
I mean, you were saying that earlier about that, and that's kind of what I meant to talk to you about. The clothing she was wearing. She was wearing like a puffy down jacket. That's almost like wearing waders. Waders are supposed to be meant to trek across water or whatnot, but if you get water in them, it's a bad thing. And that's kind of like how puffy jackets are. Like, it's a heavy thing.
You still wouldn't do that. You would unzip your coat.
That's if doesn't.
Something so bad would have had to have happened for her to jump in there. She would have had to have been like bonked on the brain or something, because I cannot swim like at all. Like I said, I literally swim like a rock. And I honestly believe that nothing would happen to me there.
What I'm interested in knowing, though, is I know the harness was found on the floor. I'm assuming that harness was attached to a leash. I want to know where that leash was pointing. Like, where was that leash coming from? Like, which direction was it? Like, if it was going towards the river.
Have you seen a picture of that bench?
I have seen a picture of the bench. I have not seen a picture or have heard of anyone talking about how that leash was, because there's a leash attached to that harness, I'm assuming, right? So,
well, that's the thing, is the dog's harness and everything was not on the dog.
Right. No, but I'm interested in knowing, like, because I know I've heard the story, like, it's somewhat of an enclosed area. They're landlocked a little bit. So you would kind of let the dog loose to kind of run around by itself a little bit. Well, maybe she was sitting on the bench, like, on her work call.
Do you know who did a good one on Nicola? Is Michelle Walks. Or she's got 2 of them, but she lives in the UK, and she actually.
I was gonna say, I'd expect her to cover this. Like,
and she only lives not far from there. So she's gone there, and she's taken her dog, and the dog would not jump into the water.
If the
leash was halfway down the embankment.
So this is why I was asking, because if it was halfway down the embankment, sorry, what I could see as a scenario, and I'm just throwing this out there, if the leash was down the embankment and the harness was away further up from it, I could see her maybe falling, maybe slipping while she had already had the dog in its like harness with the leash on, and she fell maybe and was still holding onto the leash and dragging, and a harness will come off a dog if they get into like a certain angle, like it'll come off of them.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe as she was falling, she pulled on it like too hard, and it
I'd
actually
let go.
came off the dog. But you would see that on the harness, like it was turned
Yeah.
inside out somehow, or maybe it was like in a
And I
funny-
wouldn't bring my dog with me. I would not. If I was falling in, I'm not bringing my dog with me.
But yeah, I mean,
Like-
instinctually, you're trying to grab on for dear life on something when you're falling. Like, and that embankment there that you're showing looks a little steep. Like, so you're instinctually you're gonna hold on to something that keeps you stable, right? From So
they would have found her, like Perry said. They would have
Yeah.
found her. Like if
There,
she went
yeah,
in that
she would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's deep there. It's a 10-foot, she said, about a 10-foot embankment. And the dog wouldn't even go over. Like even Michelle's little dog would kind
Yeah.
of go over and look, and it's like, no.
But that's
That is
exactly right. You can't explain that either.
exactly-
Why was her phone still on the bench?
Yeah.
Because you would think if you put the harness back on to the dog, even if the meeting wasn't over, she'd have it in her hand. Unless she's me and you can just walk away for a second while people are talking.
Yeah. Right.
Which and it's very possible when you're having group meetings like that. Like you can walk away for a second. You put things on mute and you just walk away for a second to do something,
And there's not great cell service there.
See, like that's just like all that stuff is so interesting. Like, why is she still missing?
Yeah.
If she was in the water, they would have found
They'd
her.
have her. Well,
By
yeah.
now. It's been over a week. They'd have her by now, unless if she fell in the water and got caught up on something. But haven't they?
But look there's nothing around there for her to get tangled up in. Like there's nothing. Look at that water. It's like got a sandy bottom. There's nothing growing down there.
I have no idea.
We live in
I live on
the
land with
mountains.
2 feet on the ground. I don't go dipping my head.
You see, and I will. If I'm doing it myself. Like I love creeks. Like I honestly have bought myself like a couple pairs. They're like $200 freaking water shoes, so I can walk anywhere I want in water and not slip. And I would be playing in this creek. I know I'm old, but inside my brain, it doesn't acknowledge that sometimes. So I would be in that water with my dog, like basically where Nicola's picture is. And I'd be playing in that water, watching for frogs I could grab. Like, literally.
Yeah, no, that's not my lifestyle.
No,
Like
but
I like
you know what?
water that I can see through. If I can see through it, I'm
Well, you
good.
can see through our water. That's the thing.
And
You
if
can see
my
through our water.
neck can stay above the water, but it has to be like my whole from the bottom of my neck has to stay above the water. If it doesn't, I will not.
Okay. So come visit me because you are someday. We've got waterfalls here that are awesome to get really close to and then meditate because you get the mist off of, it's a big waterfall. So you get the mist in your face, but you've got to crawl basically over these great big rocks to get over there. So again, you want the water shoes because you don't want to slip there.
So
That's where you get a
how
current.
high up am I crawling exactly?
It's
a problem with height.
It's only a few feet actually up. It's just it's a really bad place to fall in because there is the undercurrents there because you've got the water comes down in almost like 3 different ways.
Yeah, and I'm clumsy as shit, dude. If there's anyone that can find a way to fall while crawling, that is
okay. I heard that I heard that, Perry. A witness reported seeing 2 suspicious men the morning before with fishing rods near the scene.
Again,
And
people with
said they were
fishing.
hiding their faces. Then he saw one the next morning in the same place. They haven't come forward. That means a lot.
Anyone
That
who's
means a
watching
lot.
fish, doing any
Mhm.
fishing, watch out.
Mhm.
'Cause
So he's seen one of them that morning. So Perry, do you think that the guy in the that runs that area in there, the caravan, the bitchy guy, what do you think of him? I'm really, really curious to know what you think of him. And another thing, this is not like the best fishing spots. This is not where I would go to catch my fish unless I had absolutely nowhere else. I mean, again, the water isn't moving a lot. So the food that they want, like the fish eat minnows and bugs and stuff like that. So they're not going to be in a spot like this. They're going deeper. They're going faster. This isn't a good fishing spot. I mean, it's just not. You might find one hole or two that is good. I've told you, like, I'm a little bush baby. Like, seriously, this is where my fear comes in, because literally I've had, I can't remember, 3 or 4 really bad experiences with water. I was about 4 years old and I fell down a beaver run. So
what is a beaver run?
So what that is it's basically a hole that is on the side of, like, on the land, and it goes deep, deep, deep under the water. So you get underneath their dams.
Wow.
So yeah. So they go straight down. And then you're stuck underneath all the wood and I mean, I was going down. I was like 4 or something.
God.
Yeah, scary as F.
Nope.
Yeah. And then once I was on a pretty good river. I was in, 10 or 11. And I fell through the ice. And that was scary.
You're putting yourself in situations.
But I was super adventurous, My brain is telling me no at the same time as I'm doing this.
My body is telling me
and then you were talking about, like, undercurrents. Well, we used to, the family, cousins and everything, we used to all go to a certain spot on one of the rivers, and we'd take our campers or tents or whatever the heck. Well, and there was lots of drinking involved, like that side of my family, like, drink. So anyways, the guys are jumping off a bank into the water and then swimming. And I'm like, oh my God, that looks so much fun. So what does Franky do? I cannot swim. All I know is the dog paddle. And I jumped into that damn water. And if my ex-husband was not there, I was gone, because it was a mouth, which means it is 2 different kind of rivers. They join together and go. So yeah, this brainiac, I was in my early 20s. I jumped right in, and it's like, what? Yeah, like I told you, my 50s are a lot better. I've got a lot more common sense. It's like, oh my God. So those have been my experiences. Not really great, but my son always tells me this. I think I've told you he's like a psychiatrist. And psychologist. And he has told me many, many times, like, there's something that happens, I guess, when you're young and you grow deep, kind of like fibro, where it builds up and you get, by my age, you're sick with it. Well, I was sick with it young. But anyways, my fear level is not where it's supposed to be. It takes a lot for my brain to understand, like, I should be afraid of something. And he's like, that is so dangerous. And I've been that way all of my life. I'm a lot better now that I'm a little bit older. But yeah, I had no fear, which is why I was able to work in the oil field and do the things I used to do. So I would jump into that damn creek there. It wouldn't even, Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Not
I
smart.
have,
I'm not saying it's smart.
no, and I'm trying to explain like my life, kind of like trying to like figure out my life experience. Like, I'm not scared of heights per se. I'm well, actually, the best way to explain it is I don't like my life being in other people's hands.
Well said. Yeah. See, and I did not have that. The way I grew up, I mean, you know, some of the experiences, you start not to worry about things when you don't think other people that, yeah, it was just the way I grew up. Right. And yeah, not fear, but I am better now because I've got common sense.
Well,
which I did not have.
Like, there's a difference. Like anyone can have common sense. Even serial killers with no moral compass have common sense.
Very well said. Yeah.
But it's the fear part that's different. And I think me and Shauna got in a conversation one day about those free solo guys, the ones that do they climb fucking sheer clear like cliffs, mountains, like
they're all over here
with no rope. With no rope. They're just they're just climbing the thing.
Yeah, I live in the Rocky Mountains. It's
and that's
like,
insane. That is insane. Even
not my cup of tea. No.
Well, because you have common sense. A person with common sense would be like, yeah, that's all fun and shit, but once you get up there, that like you make a mistake and you fall. Like,
well,
but that's having your life in your hands, like at that point.
There is some professions though that you need that lack of fear. And where I'm gonna say that is race car drivers. Let's go like
yes, 100% race car drivers. These two
and cops. Cops have to have a certain
well, I don't mean but because there is no but I do want to have a conversation one day about how exactly do we fix that? Because it's not a cop problem. It's a people problem. It's people.
Well,
people in general, like your attitude, how you are, who you are, how you grow up, like what you're doing, why you get into the field, like all these things. There's bad people in every profession.
Oh, yeah.
Even doctors can be devils. Like
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
How do you begin to, but especially when it comes to people, like or as people and police, because they enforce a law.
Yes.
They keep you in check. How do you start to fix this thing that's going on? Like this.
I honestly think it comes from how people are raised. I think that has I mean, some things, some people are born a certain way, but I would honestly believe that there's a higher percentage that it has a lot to do with how they're raised.
I mean, it brings
when I was young
into discussion, sure, but me and you grew up different.
Yes,
you grew up a completely different way than I did. You had a different experience than I did.
Exactly. Yeah,
like 100%. How did we end up with the same sort of mentality? We just took different paths to get there, but we ended up with the same sort of thinking and feeling.
For me to get where I am in life, just as a human being, it has taken a lot of work because I was raised to believe that I wasn't worthy. So it takes a long time. Like I was telling you, the 50s are wonderful because now I don't really give a shit. It's like, you don't like me? Oh, okay, I'm good with that. That's okay.
But I mean, you are right about that. Like as far as psychology, because that's nurture. Like it's your parents that you depend on to show you some sort of sampling of how you should be in life, right?
Yes.
But if they're constantly down, like degrading you and just not teaching you good things, that's hard to get rid of. Like because it almost becomes like habitual and
Yeah.
in your
You have to
personality.
break a cycle. Like I had a son to
Yeah.
raise, and basically everything my mother did, I did the exact opposite. It's like,
That was
okay, I remember how that felt, and I would never do that to my child.
Yeah.
So,
So
I mean,
learned you knew
yeah,
like that's
I knew
so
what I didn't want
maybe
to be.
let's go back to that nature over nurture thing. So by nature, you understand that that's not right.
Right.
But by
Yeah.
nurture, you're being told this is how things are. But you recognize that. So I think that's a really
But I
that's a
honestly
great
will
thing.
if I start getting my brain in a dark spot, you know, like if I fall into a depression, which I fight, that gets big, dark, and scary is the only way I can explain that is it's a very dark, scary place. And if I get to that point, I will go talk to a professional. I have no problem with doing that because there's stuff I need to talk about.
And that's also a good thing that you recognize that because a lot of people don't. And I think that's where you get a lot of times people, their families are like, I never saw a sign. They never said anything. They never, they don't want to talk to you about it because they don't want to worry you about it or whatever the case may be. But it's if you can see that in yourself that you recognize that you even need something, you might not even have to know what that is, but if you need something different, something else, some help, it's a good thing to recognize that. I think
absolutely. I've lived with deep and dark, and it's not a friendly spot for anybody. It's not a good place to be. So if you can find a way to get out of that dark, a person should do that. I mean, a person should do that.
I'm giggling because my dog is like squeaky, squeaky.
And you know what? Perry's right. Like so many problems do stem from childhood trauma, and it is mind-blowing. Like due to my childhood, I've ended up with PTSD, I've got fibromyalgia, I've got this and I got that, and I fight it. I fight it, fight it, fight it. I will swim, I will not sink. That is how I feel.
Say the one thing that I got from my childhood was anxiety. I'm not saying that I grew up in a bad home. Both my parents were fantastic. My whole family was fantastic.
Yes.
They gave us everything we ever needed.
Yeah.
Ever needed.
Yeah.
And we
but you know what? You and I have talked, like, you know, behind scenes, and you've had your own shit too.
Yeah.
Like just because a person's not, you know, you can still end up traumatized by early life experiences. It does not necessarily have to come from your home life.
Well, what I was about to say or explain was it does come from home life because I grew up in a, like I said, very loving home. I love my parents. They love me. We're great, but they didn't grow up without their issues. You know, they had arguments. We had problems. Like,
we're all human, right?
And my dad, and God bless my dad, and I have his personality. I'm exactly like him. But he would do this thing where you just knew he was pissed because he would slam open drawers, slam open doors. He would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and do these things. And you're like, oh, I'm up. If you're up,
so it
everyone's got to be up. Like,
I get that.
So I have an anxiety with like people that get loud. Like
we still feel those anxieties and negative thoughts as kids, regardless of circumstances. You're 100% right, Perry. You're 100% right.
Now I have a problem with people getting loud when they. It gives me an anxiety because I don't.
Yeah. Well, it's like me and guns. Like through my life, you know that there's been different issues with my family and those things, and honestly, I hear a balloon pop and I almost go through the roof. And I was not there when these incidents happened. I did see their results, but I was not there but still to this day, I hear a balloon pop. I am like, my heart stops, can't breathe, and I'm almost through the roof. Like, yeah, icky. Icky.
Yeah.
I remember my son wanting all these balloons for one of his birthdays. So when they all came, they could, yeah. Well, here I am, like blowing these things up, just going, oh my God. And I did it. But oh, yuck. It's like, no, don't jump on it. No, don't jump on it. So yeah, we all have our thing, don't we?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. So with Nicola, we don't even know what has happened with her family, but we do know that she was in dark places. So with that, if I was in a dark place and thought I wanted to do something, that is not where I would pick. It's just
but that brings me the point also, you bring me back to the point I was trying to make earlier about women don't do that. I wouldn't bring my dog. You wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah.
Mm-hmm.
She set herself on fire. She went to a store.
Did she though?
Did she though?
Yeah.
I have no freaking idea. I will never believe that. But
no.
That's what they're trying to say. This is the assumption they're trying to make, is that she went to a store, she bought all the materials, did everything she had to do,
lit herself on fire. Like, oh my God.
But
yeah, I don't buy that.
But if we're going on the assumption that's actually for real, that actually happened, women do tend to do weird things, which is why I brought up the question about Nicola and what, like, did she commit suicide? That's not the way I would do it, but did she?
Not there. Like, do you know the chances of you like not being successful in that creek?
Deborah Collier. Debbie Collier. Sorry, people know about Debbie Collier, Perry.
Yeah, Debbie. She's the one, that they say went to a different town, bought all these supplies at a dollar store, went out to the
whole hour away.
Yeah.
I have a map.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was another. Yeah, that was another bizarre case. Maybe what I'll do is I'll keep playing this and see what we learn.
And this is video of what it looks like right now, right?
Yes.
So she can't even, I mean, someone's sneaking up on her. Like, she would be able to see that.
Yes. Oh, you'd see them, yeah.
But it's also odd because, like, if she was in the middle of a work call, and let's say she was getting kidnapped, did she not have time? Like, did she leave her phone on the bench and just walk away? Right? Because people do that. But if she was sitting right next to it, to her phone, and holding it, even possibly, she could have hit on mute, right? Because she probably was muted herself, so you wouldn't hear things on her side. But she could probably hit on mute, and you could hear her being taken or kidnapped.
Something happening. Yeah. Well, and this is where that caravan kind of comes into play. Like, she could very easily be drugged back a little bit and no one will see a thing. Oh, what did
Yeah,
I
they
just
just look like it has like enough wooded area around there.
Yeah.
Oh, right. There is no third party or criminal involvement, and that this is not suspicious, but a tragic case of a missing person.
What was that they circled? Was that like the glove that was there?
I'll go check.
Person.
Was that just their yellow rope that I saw and it wasn't actually like a drawn circle?
Yeah, very well could be. I want to see this.
Make this the year of your independent career. Discover HoneyBook, the all-in-one client flow management platform.
First of all, Nicola Bulley was reported missing on Friday the 27th of January after dropping her children at St Michael's School in St Michael's. As soon as she was reported missing, following the information that was provided to the police by her partner Paul, and based on a number of specific vulnerabilities that we were made aware of, Nicola was graded as high risk. That is normal in a missing person from investigation with the information we were in possession of. She was immediately treated as an ISPA, and then on the Monday, the 30th of January, I was identified as the senior investigating officer.
Okay, then.
See, Lee.
So, yeah, how did they just decide that this is
high risk? I was about to ask actually Perry that if he knew what makes the case, what details given would make somebody high risk, but yet they don't think anyone's ever.
Well, that's the thing. That is the thing. I want to see this a little bigger. Come on. Or do I? The evening, Lancashire police announced the missing mother had faced significant issues with alcohol brought on by ongoing struggles with menopause. Are you kidding me? It was significantly more detail than detectives had released in the press conference just hours earlier. Okay.
So that's what it takes. Like, that's why she's labeled high risk because she had mental health issues and
drank. Yeah. So what about her husband? Oh, because I mean, of course, the person looks at him. But you know what? I don't buy this. I just don't.
Is there like actual history of that? Like, does she have like some kind of medical record of this?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or are we just going by with what the husband is saying of her?
Well, I would really hope it's more than that. Okay, no.
Nothing in this investigation so far. It has been checked out. If it's come into it suggesting crime, it has been checked out and discounted. So every single potential third-party line of inquiry, any potential suspicious or criminal element has been looked at and discounted. But it does remain our belief that Nicola, sadly, fell into the river and that this is a missing person inquiry.
So I'm just curious. Let me pause.
It's really interesting because I've been in a gaslighting relationship where someone makes you feel like you're something that you're not. So I'm interested to know like where this mental health intervention crisis thing. How it started, who it happened, did multiple people witness this?
Right. Okay, so she did have some kind of like crisis intervention in January. So I'm sure there's a lot. What would this area be like, Perry? Are you familiar with areas like this out there? They clarified the reason for it earlier in the presser. It really does seem suspicious. It
does.
Yeah. Like, I have never, even with the crap I deal with, I have never been one who thought about unaliving. I mean, I got a kid. That would be stupid and rude. But if I was going in that direction with my brain, that's not where I would pick. It's just, there's not. This literally goes into like the ocean. So
Perry.
Her husband was called when dog was found and went to the scene, left after 20 minutes because police called and were at his home. Weird.
You know what I find weird about that? What I find weird about that is if you had nothing to hide, why bother going home? If this is the last
you wouldn't.
If this was the last place your wife was seen, you know you're innocent. There ain't nothing holding. Like you're like, you ain't gonna find nothing over there.
No, I would
matter. I
not
don't
be
need to go.
leaving.
Go ahead, search it. I don't care.
Yeah. No. Police facing backlash for revealing Nicola Bulley's struggles. Police have been accused of victim blaming after revealing Nicola Bulley's personal struggles with MP. Says they are troubled by the unusual mood. Okay. Now that MP is something all of us women go through, and probably different for everybody. I thought I would turn into like a whack job, and I didn't. I mean,
you're like, damn it, I didn't.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, what was that? I mean,
like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it's not what I expected. So I assume it's different for each person because I didn't have. But one thing I did go through was, what do they call that? That depression after having babies.
Postmortem.
Yes.
Postmortem. Postmortem.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, like I did go through that, but not to a point where I ever wanted to harm myself or my child. I was tired. I was just really tired. So it was significantly more detailed than detectives had released at the press conference just hours earlier, simply referred to as vulnerabilities that make her high risk. I don't know.
Postnatal in UK.
Yeah. Something like that. Absolutely. Yeah, because it wasn't prenatal, postnatal.
I don't know what it's called. It's like I said postmortem, didn't I? It's like that. I don't know. It's like something or like after birth. What's that called? Hold
on. It was okay. Tory MP Elisa Kearns is among those calling out the move and questioning how it could help this search in its third week. I am deeply uncomfortable with releasing Nicola Bulley's. Yeah, postpartum. That's what it was. And I swear a lot of it is like you need to sleep and you are awake for so long, for so many months. And yeah, I think that just get kind of tired and yeah, you don't I don't know. My hormones have always been like all over the place, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I am deeply
I know it's a wild thing that I will never understand, but I totally get it, but I will never understand it.
No, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like you get sad and weepy, which you do when you're really, really tired. So it's like, okay, well, it's got a title. I call it tired. But yeah, that was probably one of the harder things, and it was because new baby, I hadn't even babysat, and my ex-husband was always gone. So yeah, it was like, I am so tired. Oh my goodness. So why are they continuing to say that she's in that water? I'm not, because it's not menopause that she jumped into like a stream. Like, it's just no.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the husband doing? According to phone data and witness testimony, there's only like a 15-minute gap in time between when the phone stopped moving at the bench and the items were found. Okay. So, you had said something earlier up here. I'm going to go take a boo because you said something about the woman that tied up the dog. There we go. I think it's a woman that runs a place. She definitely seems odd tying up the dog and not reporting it. And she said she had to go to an appointment, called her daughter to deal with it, I think. Okay. So are you thinking that she's sus?
I think,
yeah, I understand that because it's just, you're exhausted, and you're sad. And your baby cries and cries and cries. And it's like, how do I stop that? And it's not that you want to, it's just, you feel like you're possibly not doing something right. It's overwhelming. That's a good word for it. It's overwhelming. Yeah. And like I said, I think every woman experiences stuff like that because it is hormones. We all have different stories.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Every woman's hormones act different. But Perry is right. And whatever comment you made prior to that comment. Hi, Dandy.
Hello, Dandy.
I find that really weird in this scenario that this is a place where she went often. This is she visited this place often. People knew her dog, like,
yeah.
And this is a dog park as is being described, which I don't know if people in the UK describe things differently, but if you say dog park in the US, you're literally talking about a place to walk your dogs specifically.
Right.
So for any person to come to a place and see a dog just by itself, if you're a dog lover, you would be like, oh my God, hello, animal, you're by yourself. What's going on? Where is your parent?
Yeah.
And you would maybe control it for a second, maybe put a leash on it and wait, right? You would look around and be like, where the hell is your owner? Which is not a really good, responsible dog owner. Just leave your dog by itself.
Right.
You don't call attention to that. That doesn't bring some sort of like red flag just in front of your eyes. Like, hello, call cops. Like, there's something wrong.
So I'm finding this really, really interesting, Perry. It says Nicola Bulley may have just walked off somewhere. And this is coming from one of the search experts. The diving expert who led the search for Nicola Bulley said she may have just walked off somewhere after police described the mother of two as high risk.
Where's
the dog
the
walker?
The
dog.
Sorry.
The dog. No, that's okay. The dog walker vanished without a trace while walking along the river. Lancashire Police Detective Superintendent Rebecca Smith on Wednesday revealed that she was considered high risk. But now you're talking about experts, search experts that are going, yeah, she's not in that puddle. Yeah. Police officer avoids saying she is confident that Nicola Bulley is still alive. Okay, I have problems with that too, because you wouldn't leave your dog. You just wouldn't. Police received 1,500 pieces of information related to the missing mother. More than 3,000 premises have been visited, and around 1,500 pieces of information have been received. Extensive searches have been carried out in the River Wire, with officers searching as far as the sea. Senior Investigating Officer Detective Superintendent Rebecca Smith said, as any senior investigating officer does, you form a number of hypotheses, that is, scenarios which are possible from right. These hypotheses include the one that she possibly could have gone into the river, and they do have to give that up. That there could be, okay, she's admitting there could be third-party involvement. And lastly, that she could have left the area voluntarily. Okay, I don't buy that, because you wouldn't leave your dog.
I don't buy that last one, because
No.
It would be the same thing. Like, why would you take the work phone call? Why would you decide going on a walk? Why even take your kids to school?
Mm-hmm.
And where is your research on where the hell you're going to go? Who's going to pick you up? Where are you going? Where's the money transfers? You need to live somehow.
Yeah. Maybe she walked off, but where? Why wouldn't she take her dog? And no CCTV footage. She didn't take the car. That is the thing. There is no footage on either side. There's no, if I remember correctly, there's no cameras on either side. So why leave the dog loose? Dog owners know how risky it is to let a dog roam, could get ran over, etc. I don't see it. She loved that dog. That's what I think. Yeah. You would take your dog. If not, you would leave your dog at home. But you wouldn't just disappear and let your dog just kind of roam around. That's not a dog owner. And I mean, look at the pictures she's got. She obviously loves her dogs. Or dogga, I guess. So hopefully this means that they are going to do. This was like 4 hours ago that this was brought up. And Pitcher's Mounted Police have joined the search. This is good. Good. Oh, rugby league star disappeared exactly the same as missing Nicola Bulley, brothers say. The brother of an ex-rugby league player who disappeared in the U.S. more than a year ago says his case is exactly the same as that of missing dog walker Nicola Bulley. I don't know if I'm saying the last name. Bryn Hargreaves, 36, vanished in Virginia on 3rd of January last year, while detectives believe that his remains may still be in the lake. Okay, but now we're talking like anywhere from England to Virginia, so I'm not going to put those together, and they're saying that they really are hoping, like, look at that is not where you would do this. Like look at that. This is right there.
Like a nice place to contemplate things.
Yes. I would sit down on the bank. If it was me, I would be sitting on the bank meditating. It's that kind of area.
But it's the whole, she didn't just walk off. She didn't walk off. I don't think she committed suicide either. And I'd love to be proven wrong. I hope those things did not happen. I hope nothing. I don't know. I don't actually even know what I hope happened. I just hope she's okay.
Exactly.
Honestly, God, but like I know that whatever it is not good.
Oh,
So
not now. No.
I don't really know what to hope. I just know that none of the things she didn't walk away because none of that shit made
No.
sense.
No.
And she didn't unalive herself because that shit doesn't make sense. Like as a like
None of it.
you guys were just saying, a responsible dog owner wouldn't do those things to their animal. You wouldn't even take it with you. If you even like that spot, you just wouldn't even take the dog with you. You wouldn't take that morning phone call if you knew that your whole life was going to be different in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Why even take that morning phone call? Like,
yeah. Yeah. So, Perry, if I want to do some digging, is it like, do they call it a caravan park, or that this woman was running? Like, I'd like to find her name and whatever I can, but I'm not sure how to do a search. I don't know what they call.
Look about
I don't know what they.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Snatch, the movie with like Brad Pitt, where he's like looking for a cowboy. He's like a gypsy or something.
Okay.
In the UK.
Right?
I'm sorry, I love movies. Like,
yeah.
That's all I
No.
can think of.
And I don't watch a lot. I'm usually, really?
You're gonna watch Tu Wong Fu though, right?
No.
You're not
No.
gonna watch Tu Wong Fu?
No. And I'm bad because I don't enjoy comedies.
This is more
Isn't that
than a
bad?
comedy. It's more than a comedy. It's like you learn lessons. I don't know. I love this movie. It's so great. I love it.
What's it called again? Tu Wong Fu?
Tu Wong Fu.
Tu Wong Fu. Tu Wong Fu. It does.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. Yeah.
John Leguizamo. I can't forget him. Like, because he was golden.
Yeah, I have never. Yeah, it's been forever since I've watched a comedy. Like, I'm talking years and years and years. So far back, I cannot remember. It was probably one of the last ones I probably watched was either. I used to. Oh my god! Like actual comedians. Like I used to enjoy. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! Police are saying that the woman who found the phone and dog also found the leash on the embankment, but I have a sneaky suspicion she didn't, and investigators are misinforming. I think Paul found it. Oh, is that right?
And what? He brought the phone and dog with him?
No, but he could very likely have been at that park, shown up after
Well,
she did.
we know that she was there, obviously, that she was there.
Yeah.
And for someone to be like, we've seen pictures of the place, obviously. Like, you can't walk up and just be like, oh, there's a phone, but not notice a dog or a leash, or notice a dog but not the phone and the leash, because you would look around. I mean, any normal human being would be like, what? Red flags.
Yeah. So I think I could be mistaken, Perry, but don't you guys in the UK have very similar laws as Canada? Like, don't?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. I mean, we are all,
but
I guess, under the king now, I guess. Like
his statement makes sense because there was some misinformation. Like, she had already been missing for a week, and then by the time we heard from it, Grizzly was doing something on it, and I watched her thing, and she mentioned something in there that I was like, that's not right. Like, and it's not that she was wrong, it's just that it didn't seem right. And then sure, like as hell, the next day they put out another post that there's like misinformation, like somebody, so the friends are saying something and somebody else is saying something different. But that aligns with what Perry is saying, because there was some questions about where exactly the harness was found, where the phone was at, how the dog was. There was a lot of questions about it.
So I wonder what the benefit would be to not being honest with the public as to who found that. Like, what would be the reason for something like that they would intentionally misinform?
See, that's also interesting. That's what, but the twine, Perry, makes me think like whoever the person that tied the dog up with the twine is lying. They might not be lying about them tying up the dog with twine, but they're lying because.
Are they still doing that, Perry?
Why? I have a question, just a general question. Why does anyone carry twine in their pocket? Anyone? Can you? Anyone?
No.
Just carry extra twine.
Yeah, no. No, not something I walk around with. Absolutely not. And I'm, like I say, I'm a bush baby. Like I
carry a knife in my pocket. I carry other things in my pocket.
Okay, so incompetence. Okay.
But twine?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd like to learn more about Paul and this woman that runs. Is it called a caravan park?
Caravan.
Caravan. Caravan park. Is that caravan?
Caravan.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, this is, I mean, it is. It's interesting. And it's one of those cases that it sends you off into all different directions because nothing seems straight up. Nothing seems honest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but UK's always have been like that too. Like, there's certain clips where UK is talking about like the Madeleine McCann case. McCann. And they sound dodgy as all hell. You're just like, why are you being that way? just tell me the secrets. Just tell me what you know, so everyone knows.
yeah, but you know what? That could be. It's not a
holiday park. Oh, it's a Winter Texan park.
Holiday park. Okay.
Winter Texan park. Yeah.
Like like we've got all over the place here.
Yeah, it's like all over the United States. Like you can just hop on a RV or you can tow your trailer and you just travel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a gypsy site. It's a holiday park.
I wasn't calling it a gypsy site.
Well, no, like
even exists. I just thought it was
I don't know. There's still gypsies in America. Quite a few.
Yeah.
That
would be an interesting story to get into, actually, because what do they do? I don't know. They still do it. But they would like literally kind of hold like a pageant show for their kids and marry them off.
Oh.
Like, so that's how you would pick the person you want to marry. Like older men are in like the crowd or whatever.
The media reports are insane. I saw one today about debunking the conspiracies, such as the 2 fishing guys. My mom is Irish traveler. That is so cool, Perry. That is so cool. Because of my lifestyle and up to this point, I mean, I've settled down now, but yeah, very much, I guess, a traveler. I mean, I moved around lots and lots. I didn't know how to, especially when my son got to a certain age, I couldn't keep still. I didn't know how to nest, and I didn't. So yeah, I did. Like I've lived.
What's still nesting? It's just a traveling nest.
Yeah. Well, you see, I've done that as well. They call it. What do they call it now? the van life or something like that. Yeah. And honestly, like there's nothing better if you can afford it to live that way. I enjoyed the living crap out of it. We just bounced from like oceanside campgrounds.
Yeah.
Is what we call like.
And I don't know. And I don't know if I know Perry is saying his mom's like an Irish traveler, but I don't even really know like if the gypsy thing culture is still going on.
Absolutely,
I know they were, but I
like
still do find those things fascinating because it's like a whole group of people.
It's a different culture.
It's a community within themselves that they've decided that, hey, we're gonna do this, and we're all gonna be a team, and we're gonna do it this way,
and they've done it for entire lives.
And I can't hate on that. Like I can't hate on a whole collective that decided that that's too cool. Like that's awesome. Good for you. But do they do illegal things? Yes.
Yes.
According to the laws. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's shady people in all different cultures. I guess.
Yes. Thank you.
But my God, Perry, if I had wings, oh my God, I'd have been all over the place. I would have been all over the place. Yeah. Like, I want to see this and taste their food, and I want to go here and I want to do that. Yeah. And that was a lot of it with me. There's kind of like subcultures too, lots settled travelers now. Yeah. See, and I know I've mentioned it before, like my family came from England and they came on the Mayflower. So a lot of my family is like, they lived in those castles, like that are all over the place there now. And that's what the family was called when they literally got onto the Mayflower. And a lot of my other family, like we're talking back in the 1600s, but that is what they called them. Explorers was another phrase that was.
I wish that was like an actual profession.
Oh, yeah. And that is what they did. But then I also have like Knights of Templar, and I've got like War of the Roses. You can take, yeah, absolutely. The Mayflower is kind of a big deal. And yeah, I've got all the records. I've got absolutely all the records. And they came from England. And my family was, I mean, they weren't married yet. They both survived the Mayflower. So yeah, when they got married, I mean, they were the first pilgrims, literally. They were the very first pilgrims that went to Plymouth. And
I could debate this all day, but I'm not going to do that. But you know what? When it comes to like gypsies, travelers, like the traveling notion, like kind of thing, people wanting to move and see the world and shit like that. That bringing on this like mentality of you need to just buy a home, you need to stay, you need to build a family, you need to be where you're at, you need to build like all these things where you're at, is going against like your human nature as a person. If we're to believe actual evolution and how things happened, Neanderthals, the ancient people who traveled across continents, and constantly moved with migration of animals and where things were going to be good and feeding and sustain. It's in your human nature to do that. It's travel,
it is
do those things.
Well, and it makes me wonder, due to the fact that I seriously loved to travel and experience a whole bunch of different things. And I'm fortunate because I have seen a lot of stuff and had some really cool experiences. I mean, it wasn't necessarily the easiest, but you do the best you can with what you got, right?
Yeah, but that's the whole point. So, that's human nature. Like people didn't have riches, moving around. They struggled. Like,
Oh,
doing these
absolutely.
things. Like they
Absolutely. Yeah, the ancestry, Perry, like I'm super proud of it. It is so cool. You know, you don't expect when you're going through these things to find something along these lines. And it's amazing. I have to go through, I've got a lot of things that are printed out and put away for my son. And I'm going to have to go through because some of the castles still exist and people are still living in them. And some are like leveled. All that's left is, but there's truly, like, I've got some ancestors that are in those, okay, what is it called? They're not graves, they're above and they're behind glass. Oh my goodness. Like Oprah Winfrey was going through a castle and was looking at my ancestors. It was like, what? Like very, 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 very cool. So when you have this kind of thing in your ancestry, there is a file. Well, you see what it is, Perry, is ancestry has a file. And if you're related to royalty, if you're all of that type of thing, it's called a millennium file. And they made it back in the 2000s, the very beginning, 2000. And it's literally, once you find that millennium file, it's like a map that shows you where to follow. So it was a great help for somebody who researched it. I researched for 5 years. So I have a lot of information. It was just very cool. I enjoyed it. I did learn, like some of my relatives were hung there. So, oh my goodness, the ancestry, Perry, I could go on and on and on about it. It's just, it was amazing to find. You know, it was amazing to find. And it sent me on a whole different experience as far as very interesting. I guess that's the best way to put it. When you find something like that, there's so much, I mean, there's so much research to do. There's books and books and books and books on the family. And yeah, it's just really, really awesome. And then from the Mullins and Eldon, like I say, they started up the first colony at Plymouth Rock, and it just kind of goes down from there. As soon as I got hooked onto them and realized, but I did have some family go, check out the Eldons, we're Eldons, and I had no idea at the time what that was. But yeah, you look at things a lot different. I didn't realize how mean royalty was back then. You don't realize it. But yeah, if you didn't do what they just chop your freaking head off. So you think it's really, really cool, but you also learn about this other side that's a totally different thing. You know, the Knights of Templar, I mean, finding them, the War of the Roses. I mean, there's so much. And I love it. If I wasn't doing this true crime, I would be doing something on history and a love of that. Do you have to pay extra to access those records on there? Maybe that's why I haven't come across it. I got as much as I could because I had to also get a hold of UK records. So I went international where I would get American, because these people landed in America. So I needed those records because my grandfather was one of the great, right? Was one of 10 kids that John Eldon and Priscilla Mullins had. So they had 10 kids, and my grandfather was Joseph out of all of the 10 kids. And he's the only one that basically took that adventure to go to Quebec and then went west. He liked to travel. He liked to explore. So everybody else, they're living in the Hamptons. They're living in castles. And I'm pretty much in an igloo. Not really, but I mean, there would have been a lot to explore there, as well as I would love to go to the UK and follow my aunt's tombs. Is that what they're called? Catacombs?
Yes, catacomb tombs.
That's like, it's so awesome. Like, it's an exact replica of what they looked like in life, but they're above ground and almost looks like a copper. It's just so awesome. Yeah, I just really got into it. So I ended up getting the full thing. I've never done the DNA, but at the same time, I was able to connect myself pretty easily once I got there. And then to have a really interesting mixture, I've got that side, which is so awesome. And then I've got my other side that is native. So that's like a really interesting mixture. just yeah, through history, it's just kind of an interesting mixture. But I'm proud of both sides. You know, I think it's awesome. But the native side, there's no way to really look up their records. So I got cut off at a certain point. But then, like I say, having like the Plymouth and going back to having all that ancestry with the kings and the queens and all of that stuff, I had a lot to keep me busy as far as research. I literally have something like 24,000 people that are relates right now. But that is going back to, like I'm telling you, 1998 AD, I do believe. So, yeah. Your turn, Mexi. I gotta grab a liquid.
My turn. I don't follow my family history. I'm Mexican. I'm Mexican. I pretty much know where I come from. Somewhere in Mexico, Indian descent, probably crosses some Spanish. Actually, I know there's Spanish in there somewhere. But yeah, that's my family history. Well, yeah. Yeah, there probably is, but
What's a full-time job? Like I say, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing the ancestry. I would be all about it.
And I do have a cousin that actually has done the research on it. Because there is a way to do it in easier ways if you're willing to pay the money. And I'm not sure it's that expensive, but if you're really willing and interested in knowing, like, it's something that you would have to pay for. But you can give your DNA profile or some sort of your ancestry, your heritage to there's people that like will literally work on this for you, like Family Tree will do this for you.
Yeah. You know what? I thought about doing that at one point because I did get pretty proficient after doing it for 5 years. But it would be very expensive to do that because you have to spend a lot of time on it. Because anything you have,
it does take some work. It takes a lot of work.
It does.
Yeah.
It does because you've got to be verified.
Yes.
You know, everything you do has got to be kind of verified. So yeah, I'm like you with the Cree on one side. I'm like you. There's not a lot of records.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I know where I come from. I know what it is, but I can't pinpoint you to a certain thing. And in my line of work, there's I wish that I would remember their company name.
Oops.
It's like they have angels in it. The angels is in the company name, and what they do, because we specialize in like actual familial studies, or just relationship studies. That's what we specialize in. We don't do any kind of like ancestry or anything like that. But we'll have people that will contract with us and contact us to test them and whoever they bring along, because a group called Something Angels like did the research for them and found the family member that they were looking for or whatnot. So I know they probably do a lot more people as long as you pay them, but they do good work. Like they really do good work, and they're really good at what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of digging. I'm trying to see because I'm trying to see, but it even takes a while to dig right now. Like it takes a little bit to go back and dig because I haven't done it for a long time. And there's a lot of people. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I can look at fast here, because they do, even though I don't, what am I going to say? Last name, Mullins. Yeah, back and back and back. Yeah, there's so much. So record date 1600s. Hampshire, England, 1858. Who's that one we talked about at that one point that I said I was related to?
Mary, Queen of Scots.
Yeah. Okay, that's who I'll look for.
She's one of my favorite queens. Well, her story is so interesting to me. I can't say she was my favorite queen because I have no idea. I don't actually think she did a lot of anything other than spend a lot of time in France. But she's got a really interesting story.
St. Margaret of Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Same. Is that her?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, she's a relate.
She's a cousin of off with her head. Queen Elizabeth.
Died in. Oh yeah, yeah. That's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like they're not always like the friendliest.
Queen Mary's son ended up ruling England and Scotland. What's his name? What was his name?
Let me look here. It'll tell me on here. Oh no, it won't. You bastard.
Yeah, because Queen Elizabeth held Mary of Scots captive for a certain amount of time. Held her in a makeshift castle thing. I don't know what it was, like on an island. But she had a son. I think his name was John. Was it John?
Mary St. Margaret of Scotland, aka Margaret of Wessex, English princess and Scottish queen.
Yes, her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her son ended up ruling Scotland and England.
Okay. Yeah. You see, this is the thing. Like, I haven't done this for a few years. So, what's another one? This one is Sir 7th Earl of Errol, George, Lord High Constable of Scotland,
Wasn't that Mary's brother?
Privy Council to Mary, Queen of Scots.
Because Mary had a brother or something.
Okay.
Who couldn't.
So yeah, that's.
He was first. Like, so.
Yeah, that's the lineage anyways. That's kind of where that goes. Franky Rose, they essentially narrow it down to tribes. I'll look for Cree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mary, Queen of Scots. She just deciphered her letters from when she was imprisoned.
Yeah, she's apparently like having some kind of like what do you call those? Like a coup.
Okay, a coup.
She was trying to get someone to save her and like start up her own military. Like, and she did actually accomplish that. Like, start up kind of. Then she got imprisoned by her by her cousin, and her cousin, because she didn't want to have children or whatever the case may be with her, Elizabeth. She made like a pact with her where she was like, if you will renounce, right, or I will kill you. I will kill you. But I will write your son in as the next in line and of the throne of England, because Mary essentially kind of had the actual rightful line, and like she should have had the throne of England somehow.
Okay.
I remember
I had one of the kings that I was related to. He just wild. He would sleep with these women, these married women, and then he would decide, yeah, I don't want to date you anymore. So then he would literally he would unalive them. So because
isn't that what you do?
Because they were like
lovers?
Well, yeah, because they were whores. They slept well, and he would chop off their
their heads.
Yes, he was that guy. That one was he a King Henry or one of those guys? Yeah, he would hook up with these women, and then he would if he decided another one, he would off with your head, and because you're a whore, you slept with you're married.
And I'm assuming that he had money and power, and is that who you're talking about? One of those guys? Yeah, then he could.
Well,
do
he
that.
was a king.
Can you imagine that back in the day that you could do that? You could literally be like, you know what?
Oh, he did it often. He killed 8 of his wives or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about Henry.
Is that the one? Yeah, he killed. And then on top of that, he knocked up one of my cousins. It's like, what the hell? And you say this generation is bad? Go check that crap out.
I don't know how, because you can literally, and this is no disrespect to the crown, no disrespect whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you can literally trace that family crown.
Well, they're German.
All the way back, and they interrelate with each other.
Well, and that's been going on since the beginning of time.
So that's how you keep it. That's how you keep it in the family. You keep the crown in the family by
that's what they used to do.
The family.
That's what they used to do. Yep. Same with King Tut, though. If you want to go down.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. This has been a tradition, all the way back.
So, okay, Mary was Catholic, and Protestants were very powerful. They wanted separation from the Pope. Okay. Yeah, I could. Well, obviously, we've been doing this for 2.5 hours.
That was part of the battle of why they thought that Queen Mary of Scots had a chance of taking the English throne, because she was Catholic.
Yeah, I'm going to put that up because I agree.
She also let the Scottish she was okay with what they wanted to practice at the same time.
Right. Yeah. They had to be, because I don't think much happened without They're okay.
Well, like even when
And
she
you
moved
know
back to
what?
Scotland, it was just a terrible thing because they knew that she was a queen, but they didn't respect her as a queen because she was never fucking there. She wasn't there.
Okay.
She
Okay.
spent most of her time in France, and by the time she came back, like I said, they knew that was her queen, but they didn't respect her.
They didn't respect her.
Yeah, why would you? She wasn't there. Like, you never knew her. You don't know anything about her. Like,
So this is my mother's side. So on my dad's side, they've always been, and so is the Indian is also on my mother's side. But on my dad's side, I can't follow it back very far. There's not records past, I don't know, maybe 1700s, maybe late 1600s. But literally, when you get into that stuff, I had one side of my family that lived outside of the castle walls. And like they survived by making things, selling fruit and doing all that stuff. And then you had my other side that lived behind the castle walls and wanted to go out there and, like, if you steal an apple, like, off with your head. It's so bizarre. And I mean, Perry's right. History is so damn interesting. I never thought that I would have any interest in it, but
history
actually
interesting. People are interesting.
They are. Yeah.
Because history doesn't repeat itself. People do.
And repeat it and repeat it and repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. You see, I know I'm not related to the present monarchy because they're German and I'm English. So no, they're two different families. How like the Germans, like they even changed their last name to Windsor because their last name was more German. And when that war broke out, they didn't really want to show their German names. So they came up with Windsor. So yeah, no relation. I mean, maybe way, way back, because it gets to a point in the family where everybody, all the kings and queens of every single place, they're all related to each other. Everybody's related.
Yep.
Which
is what treaties are fucking based off of.
Yeah.
I marry you to this person and we have treaty for life.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's super, super interesting how how history does repeat itself. You know what I mean? Like
people repeat itself.
Or people repeat themselves. It's quite interesting. They called World War I the War of the Cousins. Oh my God, did they? Now that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
That's exactly what it was.
Right? We should actually one night, because I don't ever use that channel, Franky. We should get on there one night and do a history live and just talk about.
I know nothing about history.
Yes, you do. Listen to Hugo. But like, you know more about my history. They did this and they did that than I do. Yeah. You're, I think it would be interesting.
I sucked at geography. I sucked at history. I am really interested in people, though. And that's what makes me somewhat know the history of the world, because I'm interested in people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very interesting that literally my family came from England on a boat that pretty much everybody but them died on. They came all the way into US. They made this settlement, and how through the years, I mean, we're talking hundreds. And like, if I was going to be described in my earlier life, it would have been adventurer or traveler. That's what it has gone.
That was the thing to be back in the day. I'm an explorer.
Yeah.
That was the thing to be, man. You got free money. People gave you boats and and things.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember that, but that'd be cool.
But that's how,
Somewhere in the
that's how they did it
distance.
back then. Like the people that were like,
Mhm.
I will explore the flat world for you. And the
Mm.
queen and whoever else were like, here's some money, here's some men, here's a boat. Go at it.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Obviously, you have to show some kind of like, you know.
Well, how come I can't find a deal like that?
Well, because people are stupid like that.
It's like, I would like to explore and I will tell you everything about it. I have no problem.
Because we were like, no, if I wanted to pay for your vacation, I'd go ahead and marry you. We're not doing it.
And I think you're right. It's an interest in people. I
No.
really don't like most of them. I
Yeah.
stay away from most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fall off the edge of the world. Bye. Isn't that right? Yeah. Isn't that something? But yeah, I do find people very interesting. And I think that's another area where the true crime fits in, because look at some of the whack jobs out there and how is it that they get that way? You know,
It's in history. Look at Christopher Columbus. He committed genocide. This
Right.
dude was a mass rapist, mass murderer, literally instincted? No, just
Instinctive?
erased a whole group of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he thought he was in America the whole time. But he was in
I know very little about him. I haven't done any kind of research on him. But, you know, I didn't take an interest in a lot of this stuff until I got older.
Yep.
And my son, I mean, I was doing this. I just stopped maybe, I took all those courses on Egypt. And then so probably from his early 20s until almost 30, I guess. And at first he was like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, why are you saving this? Well, it's for you. Yeah, I don't care. But now he's like getting more of an interest. One thing that I've got is it's called a switch. So back in early 1900s, the women used to grow their hair and grow it and grow it and grow it and grow it. And then they would cut it off and sell it. And then grow it and grow it and grow it. So I've got like my great-great-grandmother's switch. So it's literally like a great big long cut off ponytail. And it is so bizarre because you can smell it and you can still smell whatever she washed her hair with. Like it's cool. But I kind of wonder what he'll feel like when he puts his hand in that box.
First of all, I would never put my hand in that box. If that's nothing against your grandnana or anything like that, I just no.
Yeah, it would creep a few people out. Mm-hmm.
I mean, but every parent does it. They like cut a lock of their kid's hair.
Yeah,
Right in that little bow, and they keep it.
Well, this is probably about a 3-foot long ponytail.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and they used to make the switches, and that was for the horses or for the Jasmine. Yeah, it'll be interesting when he sticks his hand in there. And then I've got the one, Wadsworth, the author, like, oh my goodness. Well, I can't remember his name. Oh my goodness. But he was a poet, and he comes down from the same lineage from John and Priscilla, same lineage, but he was born in like, the 1800s. And he's like this famous author his books are unreal expensive. And now you don't find a lot of them. So now they're like hard to, like, they're rare. So I look every time I'm in like a secondhand store, and I have found a couple that are not like in the best shape.
Popular. Yeah, or super popular.
But people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
We have
So
a lot of bookstores like that here that I know about because like I've kind of driven around the city a little bit.
Bad girl.
But there's a lot of secondhand bookstores around here.
Yeah.
I find really interesting.
Well, absolutely. I bought my son, it's in one of the boxes. I bought him a copy because he did a story on like a little short book on John and Priscilla, John Alden, Priscilla Mullins. So this book has got like maybe 30 pages. It's soft. It's not a hardcover. And I paid a shit ton of money to get this little tiny, tiny book. That's probably the 100th edition. Like it's so I'm hoping that that is kind of the stuff that he enjoys. And then my stepdad, adopted dad actually, his aunt, his family's Mormon, and his aunt was the librarian in Salt Lake at that big Mormon church. So I've got some of her stuff. And it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. Yeah, you just, once you get going on history, even you, if you found a way to track back, and there's probably a way for us to track back. The problem is Mexicans are probably the same as Indians. They didn't worry about keeping track. They didn't write everything down. They didn't.
No, it was all passed down verbally.
Exactly.
And that's something you won't ever get unless you're part of their world.
Well, that's it. That's it. Like, even you, like with all the things that have been passed down to you through the years, I mean, you should write it down, whether it's recipes or.
Oh, it's all in my head.
But you can't, don't do that. Don't do that. Pass it down to like one of your nieces or nephews and, right?
They got their own mamas. They get shit passed down. I'm a little hater. I'm petty. Obviously, I'm petty. I'm jealous of my nieces. I love them to death. I really do. I would die for them.
Absolutely.
Right now, I would. Yeah. I'm petty as shit.
Yeah, our I don't really have nephews. Not really. But so all I've got to compare is my son. Yeah, I don't have nephews. Thank God they didn't reproduce.
Neil deGrasse.
But you know what? I think it's just about time.
Yes.
To jump off
of something. Before we leave, I just want to talk about Neil deGrasse really second. deGrasse? Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a super smart freaking guy. He knows about the universe. I love watching his documentaries about how the world started, how it all comes together. He's great. But this kid he was in a library. He was growing up back in the day where things were still segregated. And he walked into a white-only library. And he wanted to check out some books about, the stars and the universe and outer space. And the librarian wouldn't give it to him. So they called the cops. And then called his mother. And his mother was just like, can you just give him the freaking books? Check it out. I'm pretty sure that's him. But or if it's not him, it's actually one of the astronauts, that was in outer space first. But it's either him or the other guy, but I'm pretty sure it's Neil deGrasse. But I just love that. This kid didn't care about race and black or white. He was being a kid, oblivious, and wanted to learn. And they were trying to deny him. They were like, no, you can't check those out. No, you can't have these.
Oh my God.
And they ended up naming the library after him. Was that the astronaut? What? That they named the library after? like he went into the library, tried to check out some books. He was in like a little black kid back when the day when it was.
Yeah, I remember that story.
Was that Neil deGrasse?
That was what?
Was that Neil deGrasse? Or was it the astronaut? It was the astronaut, wasn't it?
He became the astronaut. The kid became the astronaut.
Yeah, the kid became the astronaut. He was like the first African American
to be
astronaut.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
Brr.
Yeah, that was a good story. Right?
That was a great story. I'm gonna have to look it up. Like, I'm giving you false information. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. American astronaut. Guion Stewart Buford? No. Was that him? You know what? I'm going to go back. I'm going to do my research again. I'll let you know.
That's funny.
Go back and look at that. But it just kind of reminded me because you were talking about like libraries, and I was like, yeah, this is a really important part of history that I think a lot of people should know, and I wish I got it right. I wish I had it right because it's really important.
Sounds like me.
I'm terrible with names. I can't express this enough. I suck with names. I know stories. I know things. I just can't ever put a name to anything.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
You start taking notes.
Oh, yeah, I'm all about notes. All about it. Okay, well, Mixie, I think.
Yeah.
Well, hello. Listen to you guys are back. Nice to see you. History, but it certainly rhymes.
It does. It does.
Well, you know what, guys? Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Yeah, I had to change the title of my stream. I think it's pretty much Stream Gone Wild.
Whatever, Franky Wednesday.
Right?
Whatever.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to just chit-chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't imagine a lot of people are going to stick their way through it, but hey, they should.
Whatever. Good combo.
Right.
You might not learn names, but you'll learn something. Okay.
Exactly. Oh, I totally enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everyone. I very much enjoyed it.
Gone wrong. Ooh.
Stream gone sideways. Oh, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I am going to say goodnight to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Maxie.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I missed you guys. I missed this. I missed chatting. I've been kind of MIA lately.
That's okay. That's okay. That happens.
I like playing Mario Kart.
Well, I will see. I'll talk to you on the other side.
Bull show. Bye, guys. Have a good Wednesday.
Have a great night.
Great night.